This dog snores, and I am a very light sleeper. So I decided to try some reusable silicone earplugs because I never liked those little disposable foam ones. So here I have the Loop Quiet and Loop Dream silicone earplugs. If you're trying to decide between these two, then this video is for you. So I got the Quiet first because the Dream wasn't out yet. And of the different earplugs they offer, these are designed to block out the most sound. So I figured I'm a super light sleeper, and I wanted to try these, but there were two problems with them, which they kind of tried to address with the Dream that I'll talk about in a minute. One is that these are really not that comfortable to wear while you're sleeping. Now, obviously, everybody's ear is going to be different size and different shape, and these come with different tips. So there's the, I guess, loop from which it gets its name, and then the box comes with different tips that you can replace depending on what fits your ear best. So I think I started out with the large or medium actually, and now I'm using the large. It comes with the mediums installed, and then I moved to the larges because the mediums weren't big enough and they were falling out of my ear. But if I fell asleep with these in, it would honestly kind of hurt, especially if I rolled to one side and had my ear laying on a pillow. I would wake up and my ear would be kind of achy. This thing kind of sticks out and doesn't really sit that flush in your ears, so it's really just not that comfortable to sleep in them. The second thing, and this is kind of gross as you can see here, the way this is designed with this little hole in the middle, if I pull out one of the other clean tips that came in the box, maybe you can see this a little better. So this is the removable tip that can slide onto the loop part, and that little hole, if you leave them in overnight and fall asleep with them in, just gets filled with earwax and is kind of a pain to clean. So you can see I gave up and stopped using these eventually. And didn't really try cleaning them out anymore, but you can get in there with a Q-tip. It's kind of hard to get with your fingernail or something, and just rinsing them with water doesn't really do it. So that is all gross, dried earwax that you're seeing there. Lovely. So again, don't really recommend these for sleeping, which is why they then designed the Dream, which I think is designed to solve both of those problems. So these are far more comfortable. Again, they do come with different size tips. And you'll note that they, if you look at them, have kind of a foam core with this outer silicone shell instead of the whole thing being silicone, so that foam is much more flexible and kind of more comfortable in your ear. And then it's got this flatter, softer little loop part, so even if you fall asleep with your head on the side, then that's going to be a lot more comfortable. And it doesn't have that obnoxious hole in the middle that accumulates earwax, so they are much easier to clean. The problem I have found with these after repeated use is that one morning I woke up and pulled them out of my ear, and the little silicone cover kind of peeled off of the foam like that, and then it's a big pain to get back on. You see it sort of sticks up like this, and if you just kind of try to roll it back on to the foam core, it doesn't go on all the way because the edge is all sort of rolled up there. And somewhere in the directions, I think I was reading the manual, and it actually said the intention is that you will replace the tips every 90 days or so, which I think kind of defeats the purpose of buying a reusable one of these. You'd think if this is just a little washable piece of silicone that you would be able to just use it forever and not need to replace anything. But I don't know if the silicone kind of starts to lose its shape or its strength, or something goes wrong with the foam or something. But it's kind of hard to do on camera here, but eventually you can get your fingernails up there and kind of manage to peel that all the way back down, but that is just becoming more, you can see, if I try to zoom in here, let's see, if it'll zoom in and let me focus. So when I first bought these, that silicone cover wrapped around the top edge of the foam, and now that's about as far back as I can get it, so the silicone is sort of curled up under itself and not all the way over the foam, and then when you pull them out of your ears, sometimes it pulls off like this. So while these are more comfortable and don't have that kind of gross earwax cleaning problem, I'd say that part is sort of annoying. Now, in terms of actual ability to block sound, if you open up the case, it will give you a little table with sound attenuation in decibels at different frequencies. I don't know exactly how they measure that, because again, it's probably going to depend on exactly how well the tip you're using fits into your ear, but honestly, it's kind of hard to look at that and gauge, okay, well, am I still going to be able to hear somebody snoring or not? In my experience, if somebody is full-on chainsaw loud snoring right next to you, these are not going to completely block it out. So depending on how light of a sleeper you are, at that point maybe you just need to give up and move into another room because no amount of hearing protection is going to save you. but they do definitely block out kind of lighter wheezing or those various little noises and bumps throughout the night that may tend to wake you up. I have young kids who may still scream for us in the middle of the night for various reasons, so they don't totally block that out. So if you're worried about not being able to hear your kids or being kind of totally unable to hear anything, that isn't really a concern. So again, count for them for kind of small to medium noise suppression, but they are not going to totally block out all sound. So there you go, honest, no frills review of the Loop Quiet and Dream earplugs. If you are a very light sleeper like me, maybe one of these is worth checking out, or if you have a better suggestion for other people who are watching this video in search of a good night's sleep, please go ahead and leave a comment and let us know. Thank you.